What type of interest payments can be claimed?
Only those that are related to the business. Obviously, your house mortgage can't be claimed. And there again, we just said that that's up to 25% of the amount of money that you get under the PPP. You can't pay the principal, only the interest, and those debts or those obligations had to be in place before February 15th.
So my husband and I both take a paycheck. Would we not qualify for the paycheck protection? We have equipment payments. Is any of the program able to help us?
If you are self-employed and you recognize an income that you pay basically withholding taxes on, self-employment taxes, then you should be able to qualify for the PPP, okay?
If you're an S-Corp owner, you should pay yourself a wage, a W-2, and your own wages are included in the PPP loan. If you're working for somebody else as an employee, it's not your company, and you have loans for your car and different things like that, no, that PPP loan won't help you. I don't have employees or rent. I have my own LLC and do contract training and consulting. Can these programs help me? I think we covered that. Yeah, it's going to be the self-employment net income that you're going to use.
So the net income is the income. What's net income?
It's your income minus your expenses is your net income. In fact, if you look at your Schedule C from last year, it'll say income from self-employment. It's right there. We're coming out with some programs that are going to cover the other tax changes that have been implemented as part of the CARES Act.
Well, and also the EIDL.
Well, and the EIDL loans. So there's the EIDL loans. There's the PPP loans. Of course, the PPP loan is a forgivable loan. The EIDL loan is a disaster loan with a $10,000 advance.
I want to make a comment on the PPP loan. It's going to be we'll forgive you if you jump all of these hurdles. We'll forgive the loan. It won't be a loan, it'll be a grant. And as everything with the government, they hold a carrot out in front of you. This is well established in the area of asset protection. They hold the corporate shield out in front of you, and we go through this for a long time in our little boot camps. But the object is to get people to create a small company, and they say, oh, well, we'll protect you, the owner, if something happens bad in the small company. You have the limited liability shield. Well, the fact of the matter is, like 90% of the small companies that actually do get sued, they lose the liability shield because they haven't jumped all of the hurdles along the way that are required in order to actually maintain the limited liability shield. And I can see this happening in the forgiveness of these loans. They're throwing a bunch of hurdles down, and we're getting more of them all of the time that you've got to do. You can only spend it for this. You can only do this. So getting the loan is going to be one problem, but making it forgivable is going to be another problem. And the government would just as lief not really forgive it. I'm sure you can kind of figure that out. So we're going to have to jump those hurdles. And as we go along, we get more information as to what those hurdles are. And that's what we have to feed out to you in the CERT product.
I think one of the first changes they made was they said last minute, you can only use 25% of this money towards operating costs. The rest needs to go towards your employees. So as part of the law, you can use a portion of the PPP loan towards rent and interest payments, as well as utilities. And so originally they didn't have any cap on that, but now it's 25%. But there's other programs out there that we'll get into as well. There's employee payroll tax credits, retention credits. You can defer payroll taxes. If your business is cash poor, there's ways that you can pull money out of your retirement, penalty-free, claim NOLs and things like that. I guess the first thing I want to say, Lee, is we've created for our students an Excel spreadsheet. And it's helpful because it calculates the amount of the PPP loan that you're entitled to. We've seen hundreds of applications from different banks that all are using different calculations to come up with this. So I think we've done a really good job at reading the law. I think we've understood the intent of the Congress that drafted that.
If it is critical to get these various loan applications in as soon as possible, how do we best utilize the Q&As of this program? Would they be to provide information we would use when we receive questions on our applications? The questions are going to be coming, and it's not only just applying, it's how do we weave our way through and make sure that we qualify in order to get it forgiven, and how do we do other things like the 2 weeks sick leave for an employee that can be credited against our future payroll taxes and that sort of stuff.
There's a lot. I mean, even if you can't get the PPP loan, Lee, or the EIDL loan, I still think you're going to save a lot of money through the different available programs out there. You've got the, you could defer the payroll taxes. You got the employee retention credits, the sick employee payroll tax credits. You can do all sorts of neat things with your IRA now. I mean, you normally you have 60 days to pay it back if you withdraw from the IRA, right?
Yeah.
Now you have 3 years to repay that.
So you can pull money out, spend it, and as long as you pay it back in 3 years, basically there's no foul. We're going to explain the rules on all of these things as we go along. And like I said, the PPP and the EIDL loans are what everybody is concentrating on, but there are all these other things. And no, we don't have those all up and ready to go yet in the CERT course, but they're coming, and we will be putting them up over the next days.
We have a question about how to obtain the loans, Lee, and I think that's addressed in our course, right?
Yeah, these sort of things. But at any rate, go ahead. Next question.